KBB family, hello, it's Randall. Hello, hello, hello. I'm not going to wait until we load because you guys are awesome. You'll be on here in a moment. And I have something really exciting I wanted to share with you. I've taught this to a group of business owners a few months ago. And it's my framework for helping folks understand how to solve problems quickly, how to solve problems quickly. I put in the chat, in the header, to learning how to put out fires with your bare hands. Fires, of course, would be any of those issues or problems or opportunities that you see in business and life that you come across that needs your attention immediately. That's what we're going to think of when we say the word fires. So I want to get into this. Hello, as you come in. Hello, hello, hello. Those are joining me from around the world. Good morning, good day, benvenuto, and all those other things that I don't know what they mean. Hello in English, U.S. English. At any rate, I want to share this framework with you because I think that it's important as we get into gearing up for, fourth quarter, getting into the last month of fourth quarter, and also going into 2021. And I think that this framework will help you to solve problems, or what I call problems or issues. I call them opportunities, because it's an opportunity to learn from that particular instance, okay? All right, so it's three steps, and I call it the 3P's. The framework is the 3P's. One is pause, the second is plot, and the third is pursue. Again, that's pause, plot, and then lastly, pursue, or as we say in KBB language, what is it? Execute. But I use pursue. All right. So I'm going to tell you a story about one of the first jobs I had. I was an assistant manager in a record store. I think I told you guys the story before. Assistant manager in a record store. And I had just came to this new location. They had several branches around the city of Chicago, and I had just transferred in from a different store, and it was my first assignment as an assistant store manager. From a shift manager, you go to assistant store manager. So you're basically handling a shift, and now assistant store manager literally has the whole operation under their purview. So I was transferring in to this position. And I had been with the company probably about, at that point, maybe 4 or 5 months, and moved up very, very quickly. And everybody knew about it in the district, and everybody was talking about it. This young kid that came in, and now he's just like, he's an assistant manager already. And there's some folks that literally were in the company for years and had never been elevated to that status. Okay, so I go to the store, and I immediately feel tension with one of the other store managers. He was actually still a shift manager, but he'd been there for years and years and had not been promoted to an assistant manager. So we immediately had beef. Now, I was a young manager, 20s, early 20s, mid 20s. So, and I didn't know anything about the dynamics about managing people and managing, relationships and things like that in business, because this was the first job that I had that was full-time, that I actually stayed at and really held down. I had a very young family. I was just now learning to really, stay in a job and really apply myself. So I didn't know about the dynamics and things like that. So I just got in and I worked hard, and I really got a lot of very quick accolades from my manager. And at one point, one of the other managers came to me and said, "Randy." I'm like, "Yeah?" He's like, "Jim doesn't like you." I'm like, "What, are we in high school? What are you talking about? He doesn't like me." It's like, "No, he doesn't like you. He doesn't like you." I'm like, "Well, why?" Because he thinks you don't like him. I'm like, "Huh?" It's like, "Yeah, he sees you come in, you barely speak to anybody, and you go to work, and then when you get done with work, you leave." And back in those days, I thought, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, right? So applied the framework. This is actually how I learned the effectiveness of it. It was the first time that I did it. Then I, of course, came back and saw how successful it was. I'm like, wow, what did I do? Pulled it apart and created this framework. Okay, first step is pause. Pause, what that means, if you pull the word apart a little bit, and you pull the concept apart and unpack the concept a little bit, you have to understand exactly what it is that you're going to solve. Exactly what the problem is first. You pause. And you say, okay, wait a minute. Okay, what's actually going on here? What is actually the issue? What is actually going on? If someone comes to you with a problem or with an opportunity, you have to stop and say, okay, help me understand exactly what's happening, what you're experiencing. That's pausing, right? Once you get that information, then you go to your next step, which is to pursue. And pursue, what I mean by that is this is when you start to look for solutions for your problem. You have the actual problem. Instead of dealing with surface, you know exactly what the core issue is, right? You have the exact core issue. Now you take that core issue and you put it into the second part of your framework, which is to plot. Now, plotting could be you sitting down and figuring out, okay, this is the issue. What are the possible solutions to this opportunity? What are the possible solutions? And again, paper and pencil. If you do it in your head, that's fine. I would recommend a paper and pencil. I actually map it out in a mind map. Basically, a mind map is like a circle in the middle, which is the core problem, the thing that you paused and found out with the core problem. You put that in the circle, and then you branch off with various circles, straight lines, and then dotted lines and dashes for other types of information. And I can explain that to you if you guys are interested at a later time. But I just want to give you this framework. All right, so once you have your core issue, which you paused and you got it, now you got to the plot stage. So you're getting your core issue in the middle, and then you branch off. What could possibly be solutions to this problem? What are, and just sit there for, 10, 20, 40 minutes if you have to, and just look at every possible angle. What could possibly solve this? What person, what place, what resource do I need that could solve this problem, this core issue? Okay, that's the second step. Last step is pursue. Once you determine what the possible solutions are, then you pursue the solution that you determine is going to be the one that does it the quickest. If it's an individual that is not like, okay, I have to figure this out as you having the problem, I have to figure this out, it may not be you. You may need to go out of your resources and go in to find another resource that actually deals with this on a day-to-day basis that can help you solve that problem. What we did to kind of finish up the story is I actually found out what the issue was. After I paused, it was Jim and his misconception of our relationship. That's what the core issue was. The plotting, I came down to, and I'm an introvert, so this was very hard for me. I'm like, I need to set a meeting with our boss and me and Jim in a room together. I'm like, we're just gonna deal with it. Because the thing that's so odd about being an introvert, for those of you who are introverts on here, you can attest to this. The thing that's so hard is that we don't like confrontation, right? But what I've taught myself over the years is that I'm gonna deal with all of it right now. Just give it to me all. Just let's sit in a room and let's just deal with it. Because I don't want to deal with it on the back end. I don't want to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm just gonna put it all on the table. Let's just talk it through. Right? So that's what I did. First time I did that. So I went to the back room. We were in the back office. Our manager, Barry, was there. Me and Jim. Both of us were standing. Barry was doing payroll, so he was sitting. And Barry, because I had went to him and I asked for the meetings, like Barry, Jim, Randall wanted to meet with us in regards to there's some type of tension going on, and I'd like you guys to kind of discuss it. And then Jim, he chimed in, which was great. He's like, yeah, Randall doesn't like me. He doesn't speak to me when he comes in. He goes through his shift and he's not really interacting. And I did not say anything. I didn't say anything. I listened to him. I let him say everything he needed to say. And what I do not recommend in an instance like this is never say to the individual that you're trying to work something out, are you finished? Don't do that. Don't do it. If it's your spouse, your significant other, or employee, or employer, or something, are you finished? Don't do that. That's dynamite. It's not even gasoline on fire. It's dynamite on fire. Trust me. I've seen it. I haven't done it, but I've seen it done. And you're talking about, I digress. All right, so I let him talk. And when he was finished, then Barry looked at both of us, and then Barry chimed in. He's like, okay, Randall, what do you say to that? That's what his issue is. I'm like, that's nothing further than from the truth. I'm like, who told you that? And this was some brilliance that just came to me in the moment. I'm like, who told you that? He's like, oh, well, the person who told me that Jim didn't like me, he told me. That's what the issue was. And instead of downing him, check out this. And I was so smart in my young age. Not really. It just came to me. I said, there's nothing further from the truth. I just met you. I have no ill feelings from you. I'm just really interested in doing a really good job, and I want our team to do well. That's my whole thing. And if I'm not speaking to you, it's my bad. I'm an introvert. I don't really talk like that. But what I will do going forward, I'll make sure that I speak to you and greet you, because that's wrong. I shouldn't be doing it. And you're absolutely right. That diffused the issue straight to zero. His whole face and demeanor lit up because he was ready to fight. He's ready to fight. And I don't mean just, argue. He was ready to fisticuffs because he was very upset with me. Because I'd been there for, at that point, probably about a month or two. And this was his daily interaction. We were both full-time. This was a daily interaction. So it's like, nah, this is too much. So we did that, had that realization, and I'm like, I apologize, and I'll make sure that I am more basically friendly when I come in and I do the job that we're both here to do. And I want us to do well, and I want us to be friends, and I want us to have a great working relationship, and I want us to have the #1 store in the district. And Jim's like, so do I. It's like, cool. From that day on, best of friends. Barry got fired. That's a whole other story. But it showed me that understanding what the issue is, looking at a possible solution, and then executing. Nothing would have happened because I had the answer. You have to approach it, right? But nothing would have happened if I would have sat in my introverted ways and not said anything or spoke through Barry or something like that. Met it head on. For that particular situation, that was exactly what we needed to do. And I want to share that framework with you guys because I think that it will be it'll be beneficial and it'll serve you as you go through building your business and even building relationships that relates to your family and friends. I've used that process on, I couldn't even tell you how many tens of thousands of times I've used it. And it is very simple, it's very straightforward. It takes some brain power, it takes some quiet time, but once you get to it and you go out and you execute on what you've discovered, I think you're going to have some great results. Okay, I hope that helped. I hope you don't have any fires that you can't put out today. If there's anything that I can do to help, please let me know. I love solving problems. But this will help you with this framework. It'll help you solve problems quickly. Greetings from around the world. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. KBB family. Be well. Have a great holiday season. Talk soon. Bye.